Hey, welcome back to the Savvy Successful Mompreneur Podcast, where we talk about the real side of building businesses, raising families, and leading with purpose. I'm your host, Savannah, and today we're going to talk about something that every woman who becomes visible in her community eventually experiences. Criticism. Not the polite kind, not the helpful kind, but the kind that shows up in whispers. The Facebook comments, the side conversations, and sometimes even directly to your face. And if you're a mom running a business, if you're visible in your town, if you're growing online, if you're building something meaningful, then this episode is going to matter to you. Because here's the truth, no one tells you. When you start stepping into leadership, visibility invites opinions. And the bigger your impact becomes, the louder some of those opinions get. Today, we're going to talk about why criticism increases when you grow, the difference between useful feedback and noise, how to emotionally handle criticism without shrinking, and how to keep leading even when people misunderstand you. Because leadership, especially in a small community, requires something that most people don't talk about: thick skin and a soft heart. There's a moment in every entrepreneur's journey when things change. You go from being invisible to being visible. Maybe you open a business. Maybe you start posting online. Maybe you start speaking out about things you believe in. Maybe you start succeeding. And suddenly, people have opinions, and lots of them. Some people celebrate you, but others, they start watching you, analyzing you, questioning you, and sometimes criticizing you. Now, here's the interesting thing. Most of the time, the criticism doesn't start because you're doing something wrong. It starts because you're doing something noticeable. Success draws attention. Leadership draws attention. Change draws attention. And attention draws opinions. So the first thing I want you to understand if you're experiencing criticism as a mompreneur or community leader is this. It means you're doing something that matters. People don't criticize people who aren't moving. They criticize people who are. There are a few reasons criticism increases when you step into leadership. And understanding this can help you take things less personally. First, change makes people uncomfortable. Anytime someone introduces something new, a new business, a new idea, a new direction, a new way of doing things, people will resist it. Not because it's bad, but because it's different, or because that's not how it's always been done. Humans naturally resist change, and leaders, they're the people that create the change. Reason two, visibility, it invites projection. When you become visible, people project things onto you. They project their fears, they project their insecurities, their frustrations, their assumptions. Someone might assume she must have help. She must not be home with her kids. She must have just gotten lucky. Or the opposite. She must think she's better than everyone. When in reality, they don't actually know your story. But visibility gives people a canvas to project onto you. Number three, success disrupts the comfort of others. Sometimes the criticism, it's not really about you. It's about what your success reminds someone else of. Maybe someone else wanted to start their own business, but never did. Maybe someone else wishes they had taken that risk, but they never did. Maybe someone just feels stuck. And seeing someone else build something bold, it can bring up uncomfortable feelings. And sometimes those feelings, they come out as criticism. But here's something important. Not all criticism is negative. Some criticism is actually valuable. As leaders and business owners, we have to learn to separate helpful feedback from unproductive noise. Helpful feedback sounds like, hey, I noticed this customer experience, it could be a little better. Have you thought about adjusting this? I want to share something that might help. Helpful feedback is usually respectful, constructive, specific, and sometimes it actually improves your business. Then there's the other kind, the vague criticism. the gossip, the assumptions, the comments made from a distance, the kind of criticism that usually comes from people who aren't in the arena, aren't building anything, and don't understand the full picture. And one of the biggest leadership skills you will develop is learning to ask, is this feedback useful or just noise? Now let's talk about the part no one likes to admit. Criticism, it still hurts. Even when you're strong, even when you're confident, and even when you know you're doing the right thing. Because leaders are still human. And when you're a mom running businesses, your heart is usually in everything you do. Your community matters to you. Your reputation matters to you. Your integrity matters to you. So when someone questions your intentions, it can sting. It can hurt. But here's what I've learned. You cannot lead effectively if you require universal approval. Let me say that again. You cannot lead effectively if you require everyone's approval. Leadership means some people will misunderstand you. Some people will disagree with you, and some people will criticize you. But leadership, it isn't about pleasing everyone. Leadership is about doing what you believe is right while staying open to growth. Here are a few things that have helped me and many other leaders navigate criticism. First, pause before reacting. Your first emotion, it might be frustration or hurt or to be defensive. But reacting immediately rarely helps. Take a break, take a breath, give yourself space, and then evaluate the situation calmly. Second one, ask, is there any truth here? Sometimes criticism contains a small piece of truth, even if it's delivered poorly. Strong leaders, they can ask themselves, is there something I can learn from? And if there is, then they grow. Number 3, don't let critics become your compass. And this is a big one. You cannot run your business or leadership decisions based on the loudest voices. If you do that, you will constantly be changing direction. You won't know where you're going. Instead, your compass should be your values, your mission, your long-term vision, not random opinions. Number 4, protect your space. You don't have to respond to every negative comment. In fact, I recommend not responding at all to those. You don't have to engage in every criticism. Sometimes the most powerful leadership move is to simply silence, say nothing. Not because you're weak, but because you're focused. The truth is, leadership comes with a price, and that price is visibility. The price is responsibility. The price is criticism. But it also comes with something beautiful. Impact, influence, change, community growth, opportunities to help people. So when criticism comes your way, ask yourself something important. Is the impact I'm creating worth the discomfort of the criticism? And for most leaders, the answer is yes. If you're a mompreneur listening to this today and you're experiencing criticism, I want you to hear this. Criticism is not always a sign you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's a sign you're doing something bold. Keep leading, keep building, keep serving your community, and most importantly, stay grounded in who you are and why you started. Because the people who truly matter, your customers, your family, your community supporters, they see the work you're doing. And they're cheering for you. Even if the critics can sometimes be louder. Thank you for spending a part of your day with me here on the Savvy Successful Mompreneur Podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with another mom who's building something meaningful in her life or her community. And until next time, keep showing up, keep leading, and keep building the life that you envision. You got this.